Yes, and I'm turning every Toy Story character into their opposite by taking their three main attributes and colors, swapping them into their opposites, and then placing them back into the movie, and see how this new opposite character would impact the storyline of Toy Story. And after each character is made, I will rank them on a scale from 1 to 10, and then place them on the poster for Toy Story as opposites. Then at the end of the video, we will place all the opposite characters into the movie Toy Story as opposites, and watch the trailer for it. It will be
crazy.
Let's kick things off with everyone's favorite character, Woody. It's time to bring the hat back. Indigo approves of the hat. Ooh. Alright, Craig, what are Woody's three main attributes and key colors?
Woody's first key attribute is loyal, and the opposite of loyal is selfish. Woody's second key attribute is brave, and the opposite of brave is fearful. Woody's third key attribute is traditional, and the opposite of traditional is modern. Woody's key clothing colors are yellow, blue, and brown, and the opposite of those would be purple, orange, and light blue. Woody's eye color is brown, and the opposite of brown is light blue. Woody's hair color is light brown, and the opposite of light brown is light blue.
Alright, Craig, using these new opposite attributes and opposite colors, turn Woody into his opposite. Okay, so first off, I can tell he's not as happy as normal Woody. He definitely looks sadder. His colors are way off. He's wearing purple and like cyan and like blue. It's definitely very, very different from the normal Woody. Alright, Craig, let's see how this opposite version of Woody would impact the storyline of Toy Story.
If Woody was selfish, he'd never risk anything for his friends. Being fearful means he'd hesitate when it matters most. And if he were modern, he'd be too caught up in trends to care about Andy's room.
Yeah, he would have been a real downer in the movie. I can see how that would be much more of a sad movie. It's time to move on to the ranking. So honestly, this one kind of made me sad because of the storyline and how it would have changed. But I think it's pretty good with the colors. They matched up, except there was no orange. That was kind of unfortunate. So I'm gonna rate this one a 7.8 out of 10. Now let's add the first character to the poster. He looks great, or horrible, I don't know. I'm really excited to see Buzz later though. It's time for Miss Bo Peep. Okay, Craig, what are Bo Peep's opposite attributes and colors?
Bo Peep's first key attribute is caring, and the opposite of caring is harsh. Bo Peep's second key attribute is clever, and the opposite of clever is foolish. Bo Peep's third key attribute is independent, and the opposite of independent is dependent. Bo Peep's key clothing colors are pink, blue, and white, and the opposite of those would be light green, orange, and black. Bo Peep's eye color is blue, and the opposite of blue is brown. Bo Peep's hair color is blonde, and the opposite of blonde is light purple.
Okay, Craig, use these opposite attributes and opposite colors to make the opposite version of Bo Peep. Okay, so I can definitely see the colors in there. They're all in the outfit, and they definitely do not match. I could see kind of harsh and foolish in there. Dependent, maybe, but I just think it's the outfit for me that's making me not like this one as much. I guess the fact that she's dependent is that others are telling her or giving her stuff to wear, and she's just doing it because she depends on it, and not working for her. Okay, Craig, how would this opposite version of Bo Peep impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Bo Peep were harsh, her kindness would vanish. Being foolish means she'd fall for every trap. And if she were dependent, she'd wait for others instead of taking the lead.
Craig, you didn't really give us any new information there, but I could see how that would impact the storyline with her different attributes. The normal version of Woody probably wouldn't have liked her because she wasn't cool and independent like she is normally. So I guess that love story never would have existed, which is honestly kind of sad. But maybe there's a new love story between the opposite Woody and the opposite Bo Peep. But we'll just have to wait until the end of the video to see that. Now let's rank her. I'm gonna rank this one a little bit higher than Woody's because she had all three colors displayed and Woody only had two. So I'm gonna give this one an 8.1. The lady takes the lead. Now let's add the opposite version of Bo Peep to the poster. Oh my gosh, this is kind of looking horrifying. I'm kind of scared to watch the trailer at the end of this video, honestly. Yeehaw, giddy up. Nope, that was horrible. If you couldn't tell, that impersonation was Jessie, because she is next. Okay, Craig, what are the three main attributes and key colors of Jessie?
Jessie's first key attribute is energetic, and the opposite of energetic is lethargic. Jessie's second key attribute is adventurous, and the opposite of adventurous is cautious. Jesse's third key attribute is optimistic, and the opposite of optimistic is pessimistic. Jesse's key clothing colors are white, blue, and red, and the opposite of those would be black, orange, and green. Jesse's eye color is green, and the opposite of green is red. Jesse's hair color is autumn red, and the opposite of autumn red is forest green.
Okay, Craig, let's see this new opposite version of Jessie. Okay, so this opposite version is honestly kind of scary. Instead of being more pessimistic, she kind of looks evil, not gonna lie. I can definitely see the colors, black, green, and orange. Those are definitely in there, but the attributes are not really coming through for me. They're kind of scary. I noticed she's not wearing her cowgirl outfit, and I think I know why. In Toy Story 2, she was really optimistic, and she was excited to go to the toy museum in Japan. Because there, she would be put on display with all the other Woody collection characters. But because she's all pessimistic, she no longer believes in that idea. So she has thrown away her cowgirl outfit and now just wears kind of sad modern clothes. But that's just a theory, you know. Okay, Craig, let's see how this opposite version of Jessie would impact the storyline of Toy Story.
If Jessie were lethargic, she'd never jump into action. Being cautious means she'd avoid every adventure. And if she were pessimistic, she'd always expect the worst and miss the fun.
Yeah, I feel like Toy Story 2 would have been way worse of a movie if she were the opposite. Because she was one of the best characters in that movie. She brought so much joy and fun. So if she were like this, the movie would have been ruined. On to the rating. The colors are all great and they're exactly what they should be, but she looks a lot more scary than the attributes. So I'm gonna rate this one a 6.7. Now let's add the opposite version of Jessie to the poster. I wonder if she and the opposite version of Buzz will get along. We'll just have to find out. So stay with me, my friends. Next up is Bullseye. Okay, Craig, what are the three main attributes and key colors of Bullseye?
Bullseye's first key attribute is loyal, and the opposite of loyal is disloyal. Bullseye's second key attribute is expressive, and the opposite of expressive is apathetic. Bullseye's third key attribute is playful, and the opposite of playful is serious. Bullseye's key clothing colors are light brown, dark brown, and red, and the opposite of those would be light blue, and green. Bullseye's eye color is black, and the opposite of black is white. Bullseye's hair color is brown, and the opposite of brown is light blue.
What the heck is this? Honestly, this is actually kind of scary. It's kind of scaring me, honestly. The colors, he looks so pale and like sickly. The dark blue hair, the green hooves and green saddle, and honestly, he just looks scary, honestly. Did I say honestly enough? Because honestly, I don't like this one. Alright, Craig, let's just see how he would impact the storyline of Toy Story.
If Bullseye were disloyal, he'd abandon his friends when they needed him. Being apathetic means he'd never react with joy, and if he were serious, he'd lose the playful heart that makes him special.
Okay, so Bullseye's story would be almost identical to Jessie's. So if both of the characters were their opposite selves in Toy Story 2, they would have just fed off of each other. It would have been a kind of depressing movie. Let's move on to the ranking. I'm gonna keep this really brief, because I want to move on. Bullseye, you get a 5 for just being super creepy. It's not personal, it's just you're scary. So it is kind of personal, I guess. So let's add the opposite version of Bullseye to the poster. This is looking pretty creepy. The trailer at the end of this video is going to be crazy. It's time for Mr. Potato Head. More like Mr. Mashed Potato. It's actually still in one piece, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, Craig, what are the three main attributes and key colors of Mr. Potato Head?
Mr. Potato Head's first key attribute is sarcastic, and the opposite of sarcastic is sincere. His second key attribute is practical, and the opposite of practical is unrealistic. His third key attribute is caring, and the opposite of caring is cold. His key clothing colors are brown, black, and pink, and the opposite of those would be light blue, white, and light green. His eye color is black, and the opposite of black is white. Mr. Potato Head has no hair.
Okay, Craig, let's see the opposite version of Mr. Potato Head. Okay, before we react to this, I want to just say, sincere and cold, two of his opposite attributes, kind of contradict each other. How can you be sincere and cold? Because sincere usually means nice and attentive, and cold means quiet and a little mean. That just seems really unrealistic. His third attribute is unrealistic. Wait, so it all adds up. Okay, that's confusing. Okay, so I see all the colors, the blue, the green, the white. It's all working for me. The attributes are not really coming across. I could just really see the sincere and unrealistic part about him, not really the cold part, which maybe is what he wants us to think. All right, Craig, how would the opposite version of Mr. Potato Head impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Mr. Potato Head was sincere, his sarcasm would disappear. Being unrealistic means his plans would always fall apart. And if he were cold, he'd never come through when it counts.
Man, the movie without his sarcasm would not be as funny. And if his plans fell apart, that wouldn't be good, because in Toy Story 3, his tortilla plan helped them escape. So if he was his opposite version of himself, they would still be stuck in that daycare. Now it's time to rank him. All of the colors are there, most of the attributes are there, so I'm gonna give it a solid 7.3. Now let's add him to the poster. We're getting closer to the trailer, guys. I just don't even know what to expect at this point. It's time for Slinky the Dog. I didn't have a dog available for this clip, so I'm just using my cat, Indigo. Would you like to be a Slinky? No. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key colors of Slinky the Dog?
Slinky Dog's first key attribute is loyal, and the opposite of loyal is disloyal. His second key attribute is friendly, and the opposite of friendly is hostile. His third key attribute is nervous, and the opposite of nervous is calm. His key clothing colors are tan, metallic, and green, and the opposite of those would be teal, rust, and red. His eye color is black, and the opposite of black is white. His hair color is brown, and the opposite of brown is light blue.
Okay, Craig, let's see this opposite version of Slinky the Dog. Once again, the attributes don't really make sense. How can you be hostile and calm? Okay, I see the opposite colors. It says his hair color is light blue, and there is light blue. I guess since he doesn't wear clothes, he's just blue all over, you know? Indigo. Yeah, I'm not sure if I see the opposite attributes. I do see calm, but I don't really see the other two. All right, Craig, how would this opposite version of Slinky Dog impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Slinky were disloyal, he'd never stick by Woody's side. Being hostile means he'd push others away. And if he were calm, he'd lose the nervous energy that makes him lovable.
Yeah, I guess he wouldn't be the same lovable character that we like so much. Now let's move on to the ranking. This one was not completely accurate, but I liked the Slinky, so I'm gonna give this one a 5.5. Now let's add the opposite version of Slinky Dog to the poster. Another character down. The trailer is getting close. It's time for Rex, the dinosaur. All right, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key colors of Rex?
Rex's first key attribute is timid, and the opposite of timid is bold. His second key attribute is gentle, and the opposite of gentle is harsh. His third key attribute is funny, and the opposite of funny is grim. His key clothing colors are light green, dark green, and white, and the opposite of those would be pink, red, and black. His eye color is green, and the opposite of green is red. Rex has no hair.
All right, Craig, let's see this opposite version of Rex. Okay, so honestly, this one is kind of horrifying. I do not like the way his eyes are just completely white. He definitely looks harsh, bold, and dark and grim. He's wearing red and pink and a little bit of black in there. And honestly, this one is just horrifying. All right, Craig, how would this opposite version of Rex impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Rex were bold, he'd jump into danger without thinking. Being harsh means his gentleness would be gone. And if he were grim, his humor would disappear entirely.
It's kind of comforting that he wouldn't be a bad guy. He would just be kind of more of a stronger character and might have actually helped them out in a couple situations. Now it's time to rank him. I really like this one, so I'm going to give it a 9.1. Which means Rex has taken the lead. Let's add the opposite version of Rex to the poster. I really like this one, and I hope Buzz is just as good. Next up is Ham. All right, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key colors of Ham?
Ham's first key attribute is witty, and the opposite of witty is dull. His second key attribute is smart, and the opposite of smart is naive. His third key attribute is dependable, and the opposite of dependable is unreliable. His key clothing colors are pink, black, and white, and the opposite of those would be light green, white, and black. His eye color is black, and the opposite of black is white. Ham has no hair.
All right, Craig, let's see this opposite version of Ham. So I can definitely see all the attributes in this one. I can see dull, naive, unreliable, all of that. I see a lot of the green, the black, and the white. I think Craig got the attributes and the colors right. Alright, Craig, how does this opposite version of Ham impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Ham were dull, his wit would vanish, and that sharp humor everyone loves would be gone. Being naive means he'd fall for every trick, every time, without even realizing it. And if he were unreliable, well, his friends could never count on him when it mattered most.
So I'm seeing a common theme. It seems like the normal Toy Story characters all rely on each other, and when they're opposites, they don't. They're kind of pushed away from each other and kind of mean. I guess that just speaks to how sweet the movie is, and they all rely on each other and work together. It's a good thing none of them were their opposites in the real film. But all of them will be their opposites in the trailer at the end of this video. So that will be utter mayhem. Ham. Let's rank the pig, Mr. Ham. Okay, this one's actually pretty good. The attributes are spot on and the colors are spot on, so I'm gonna give this one an 8.8. It's definitely up there. Oh, I just remembered that Zurg is one of the characters we're doing today. He's so mean in the movie, so that means he's gonna be so nice in this video. But I'm most excited about seeing Buzz later. Let's add the opposite version of Ham to the poster. I guess if his name was opposite, he'd be called Beef. I guess the opposite of my name would be Curse. It'd be a cursing. It's time for the aliens. Alright, Craig, what are the three main attributes and key colors of the aliens?
The aliens' first key attribute is innocent, and the opposite of innocent is cunning. Their second key attribute is loyal, and the opposite of loyal is disloyal. Their third key attribute is cheerful, and the opposite of cheerful is gloomy. Their key clothing colors are green, blue, and purple, and the opposite of those would be red, orange, and yellow. Their eye color is black, and the opposite of black is white. The aliens have no hair.
Okay, Craig, let's see the aliens as their opposite versions. Okay, so these are horrifying. I don't really like them. First of all, I don't really see any cunningness of them. They're ugly, and that's that. They're scary. They definitely look disloyal, and they have the colors. They definitely do have the colors, the yellow, the orange, the red. Those are there, but they just scare me. All right, Craig, how would the opposite version of the aliens affect the storyline of Toy Story?
If the alien was cunning, his sweet innocence would vanish completely, leaving behind someone you couldn't trust. Being disloyal means he'd only ever look out for himself, not for the others who once meant everything to him. And if he were gloomy, he'd never lift his eyes in wonder again.
Okay, so this is actually big news. If they were the opposite versions of themselves, they would not be obsessed with the claw. And if you've seen Toy Story 3, you know it's the claw that saves the whole Toy Story 3 cast from the furnace. So if the aliens were their opposite versions, everyone would have died, basically. Now let us rank them. Honestly, I'm gonna keep this one short and give them a 7.5 for good enough. Now let's add the opposite versions of the aliens to the poster. You know, guys, this is actually starting to come together in a creepy, kind of messed up kind of way. I'm excited to see the rest, especially Buzz Lightyear. It's time for the big, bad villain himself, Lotso. What's up with these big, scary, very complicated villains that are purple? I'm thinking Thanos, I'm thinking Lotso, I'm thinking Zurg. Alright, Craig, what are the three main attributes and key colors of Lotso?
Lotso's first key attribute is warm, and the opposite of warm is cold. His second key attribute is charismatic, and the opposite of charismatic is awkward. His third key attribute is controlling, and the opposite of controlling is permissive. His key clothing colors are purple, white, and brown, and the opposite of those would be yellow, black, and light blue. His eye color is brown, and the opposite of brown is light blue. His hair color is purple, and the opposite of purple is yellow.
Alright, Craig, let's see the opposite version of Lotso. Okay, so honestly, he just looks like a very messed up kind of cuckoo bear. I think the yellow suits him. He is wearing black, yellow, and blue in his eyes and stuff. He definitely looks kind of weird and awkward and not as warm and huggable as he was before. Okay, Craig, how would this opposite version of Lotso affect the storyline of Toy Story?
If Lotso were cold, he'd never charm anyone ever again. Being awkward means his smooth confidence would crumble. He'd be lost for words. fumbling instead of leading. And if he were permissive, he'd just let chaos unfold around him, standing by while everything fell apart.
So Toy Story 3 could have maybe been the end of the entire series, because it would have allowed them into the butterfly room where the kids were more calm, which means the cast of Toy Story would have liked it at the daycare. So they never would have left, and we would have never gotten any more Toy Stories after that. So I guess it's a good thing that Lotso was his normal evil version in the movie, and not his opposite version, because they would have never gotten to Bonnie's house. And it's there that the movie ends so well, because Andy gets to say goodbye to his toys. So thank you, Lotso, for being the bad guy, and not your opposite version. Truly top notch. Now let us rank him. So honestly, this is pretty good. I like this one. I like the colors, I like the attributes, I like the way it changes the story. So I'm gonna give it a 9.4. That's right, a 9.4. Let's add the opposite version of Lotso to the poster. We're getting really close to Buzz. Like, so close. Next up is Barbie. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key colors of Barbie?
Barbie's first key attribute is polite, and the opposite of polite is rude. Her second key attribute is upbeat, and the opposite of upbeat is downbeat. Her third key attribute is supportive, and the opposite of supportive is dismissive. Her key clothing colors are pink, yellow, and white, and the opposite of those would be light green, purple, and black. Her eye color is light blue, and the opposite of light blue is brown. Her hair color is blonde, and the opposite of blonde is purple.
Alright, let's see this opposite version of Barbie. I definitely see the colors, the light green, the black, the purple, they're definitely there. And she definitely looks much ruder than the normal Barbie. She definitely looks like a mean girl, and I don't like it. Indigo, what do you think? Alright, Craig, how would this opposite version of Barbie impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Barbie were rude, her politeness would completely disappear, and that warm, welcoming charm would be gone. Being downbeat means her smile would fade, leaving her distant and withdrawn. And if she were dismissive, she'd push everyone away without a second thought.
Okay, so like Mr. Potato Head, she was a pretty big part in getting them out of the daycare. So if she couldn't have used her niceness to convert Ken to their side, they never would have left. So, like a couple other characters, if she were the opposite version of herself, they would probably be stuck at the daycare. Now, let's rank her. Honestly, this one's not my favorite, but it's good in a way, so I'm gonna give it a 6.6. Now let's add the opposite version of Barbie to the poster. Besides Buzz, I actually am really excited to see what Ken will look like. Oh, what do you know Ken's next? Alright, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key colors of Ken?
Ken's first key attribute is stylish, and the opposite of stylish is sloppy. His second key attribute is self-absorbed, and the opposite of self-absorbed is selfless. His third key attribute is charming, and the opposite of charming is awkward. His key clothing colors are blue, pink, and white, and the opposite of those would be orange, light green, and black. His eye color is blue, and the opposite of blue is orange. His hair color is red-brown, and the opposite of red-brown is green-blue.
Alright, Craig, let's see the opposite version of Ken. Okay, so honestly, I could see that. He definitely looks more army with all like the army colors and stuff. The orange and green and black definitely show up in the picture. And he's not in his dream house anymore. He's kind of in his own little part of the daycare. And so that definitely shows his sloppiness and he doesn't really care about it anymore. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Alright, Craig, how would the opposite version of Ken impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Ken was sloppy, his signature style would vanish, replaced by something careless and dull. Being selfless means he'd stop showing off, stop trying to be the center of attention. And if he were awkward, he'd never steal the spotlight again. He'd fade into the background.
Honestly, I think Craig did a good job at depicting his sloppy awkwardness really well. So I'm gonna give it a 8.3. Now let's add the opposite version of Ken to the poster. Guys, we only have one left until Buzz. And that one until Buzz is Zurg himself. Alright, Craig, what are Zurg's 3 main attributes and key colors?
Zurg's first key attribute is evil, and the opposite of evil is good. His second key attribute is ruthless, and the opposite of ruthless is compassionate. His third key attribute is loud, and the opposite of loud is quiet. His key clothing colors are purple, black, and red, and the opposite of those would be yellow, white, and green. His eye color is red, and the opposite of red is green. Zurg has no hair.
Alright, Craig, let's see the opposite version of Zurg. Honestly, it's pretty good. I see the colors, they're white, green, yellow, pretty good. I can't really get any emotion from him. He's a robot. I mean, that's kind of the struggle I have with him. But, I don't really, see any emotion, but I can pretend. Alright, Craig, let's see how the opposite version of Zurg would impact the storyline of Toy Story.
If Zurg were good, his evil plots would end for good. Being compassionate means he'd care for others, offering kindness where there was once only destruction. And if he were quiet, his loud threats would fade into silence, and peace would finally take their place.
So I guess he would have just been a cool, nice guy. Honestly, he didn't do very much in Toy Story 2, so if he was his opposite version, it wouldn't have changed much. Now let's rank him. I think he's good. I'll give him a solid 7. Now let's add him to the poster. Guys, it's time for the character I've been so excited about, Buzz Lightyear. To infinity and beyond. Okay, Craig, what are the 3 main attributes and key colors of Buzz Lightyear?
Buzz Lightyear's first key attribute is confident, and the opposite of confident is insecure. His second key attribute is bold, and the opposite of bold is timid. His third key attribute is heroic, and the opposite of heroic is villainous. His key clothing colors are white, lime green, and purple, and the opposite of those would be black, magenta, and yellow. His eye color is light blue, and the opposite of light blue is brown. His hair color is brown, and the opposite of brown is light blue.
Alright, Craig, let's see the opposite version of Buzz Lightyear. Definitely looks like the opposite version. The colors are definitely different. He's wearing black, magenta, yellow. I could definitely see that. Yeah, so I definitely see the insecure and timid part. Villainous, I guess he could be like a hidden villain. We don't know he's a villain yet. Alright, Craig, how would this opposite version of Buzz Lightyear impact the storyline of Toy Story?
If Buzz were insecure, he'd never take charge. Being timid means he'd shrink back from every challenge. And if he were villainous, his actions would always serve himself, not the team.
Okay, yeah, so I guess Woody would have been right. Woody never liked him from the get-go, and I guess he really would have been a villain. So that means Woody would never come around, and everyone else would eventually dislike Buzz. So when he got knocked out of the window, nobody probably would have went after him. Which means he probably would have been strapped to a rocket and get killed by Sid. Now, let's rank him. Honestly, I think the image is pretty good. I think Craig did a good job at depicting all the attributes and the colors, so I'm gonna give this one an 8.1. Now let's add these 14 opposite characters to the movie Toy Story and see the trailer. This is gonna be crazy.
When Andy and his family left for summer vacation, the toys stayed behind, content and unsuspecting. Zurg arrived with a plan. Tired of losing, he brought a secret weapon, the opposite engine. It would flip each toy's core traits, breaking their unity so he could take control without a fight. He activated it. A pulse surged through the house. Woody, once brave and loyal, grew selfish and scared. Bo Peep became clingy and confused. Buzz and Jessie turned cold, cunning, and ruthless. They seized power, declaring themselves rulers of Andy's room. But Zurg hadn't planned for the pulse to hit him. In a flash, he became quiet, gentle, and overwhelmed. Horrified, he fled. The pulse kept spreading to Sunnyside and beyond. At the daycare, Lotso felt it wash over him. But instead of confusion, he felt clarity. No longer bitter, he sensed something new. Drawn to it, he left with Ken to find the source. Back in Andy's room, Buzz and Jessie ruled with icy logic. Mr. Potato Head patrolled silently. Bullseye blocked the shelves. The aliens muttered threats. Barbie, Rex, Ham, and Slinky hid, scared and unsure who to trust. Lotso slipped through the vents and found Woody near the toy chest. "I don't want to be who I was," Lotso said, "but I think you do, and your friends need you." Together, they made a plan. Ken argued with Jessie. Slinky cornered Mr. Potato Head. Woody and Lotso rushed the machine. Buzz blocked them. "You're too late," he growled. "No," Woody said. "I just remembered who I am." He dove onto the opposite engine and rewired it. "Please don't change me back," Lotso whispered. "I like who I am now." Woody nodded and flipped the switch. A soft pulse swept the room. Buzz blinked. Jessie gasped. Bo Peep stood taller. Lotso, still gentle, smiled. Andy's house was whole again. And this time, no one was left behind.
Oh my gosh, that was total mayhem. But super fun. Just like my other videos. And if you want to watch those, you should click here. And if you really liked it, you should subscribe. Alright guys, I'll see you in my next video, and don't forget to be a blessing. And don't forget to check out my merch.